I think for the Kings, where I look at them, I think they are a team that can flirt with the 1 seed. And I say that because last year they just had so much consistency in terms of their offense. And I understand like saying they have the best offense might not like mean too well when people say, well, the defense isn't great. But the Kings consistently, the way their offense looked, it looks super scalable to the competition that they played on a night in and night out basis. And guys were very healthy last year. So conservatively for me, I still think the Kings are going to be a team that this year will have home court in the Western Conference. Again, health is really the biggest factor here because in the past, we've seen Fox miss a couple of games here or there. And last year, him and Sabonis played many, many games. Also, Sabonis got hurt during the season and played through it to make sure that that team could actually, make some noise and make the playoffs. So with all that in mind and the leap of Keegan Murray, again, if he can be that guy that can be, in different units, both with Fox or without, and his responsibilities go up in terms of pick and roll, you could see this team have many different looks. And what I always love about teams coming in is if you have a vision and you have the team, but you have years together, that continuity often carries you through a regular season. So I would still say between the 1 and 4 seed range for the Kings, I absolutely believe the Kings are a playoff lock this year. I do believe that.
I mean, you mentioned like how continuity matters. You look at the Denver Nuggets, right? And I guess
in a certain extent too. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
The Warriors, and I know they had their troubles last year,
right?
But they were still able to get into the playoffs and win a playoff series because of some of the continuity they had. Now, it didn't all come together, Wiggins being out, Poole and all that. But it is interesting. Some of the teams you could have more success based on the fact that, we just know each other.
Let's go to the Pacific Division, right? And which is so funny because I don't think we really gave a damn about divisions until the Kings actually showed some promise last season.
It's a stacked division, though, on paper.
And it is a stacked division. And so on top of that, winning the division, it was like, okay, we're going to put something into that now. The Pacific Division, when you look at that, like, Deuce just said it's stacked. Like, what do you see?
Oh, man. I think, honestly, for me, when it comes down to ranking the division and like the Western Conference as a whole, a lot of it comes down to the style of play that these teams are going to have. I mean, I'll never forget after the Westbrook trade happened and you guys went and you played that LA team, how competitive it was up and down the court, up and down the court. The non-quit in the Kings, multiple lead changes, down for big pockets of the game. Sabonis last season, whenever he was in foul trouble, Fox was the guy that stepped up and had so many big and crucial clutch moments for this team. I think specifically in that overall division, the execution down the stretch is often what I'm going to be looking at. And I think this Kings team, again, has a semblance of understanding exactly what they want to get to. Obviously, because Mike Brown, as you said, is so militant in what he wants from the team, but the guys he has to execute that vision fit very, very well. And it's right at the top with those other teams in that division.
Yeah, Warriors, Kings, Clippers, Lakers, and Suns. That's an unbelievable division.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have predicted that the Kings would win that division last year. I'm looking at this, and I think that it's a bigger topic, too, about who do you trust? Like, who do you trust in the West?
Okay.
Like, trust that they're going to be
Nuggets.
The Nuggets, I think we all trust that they are a contender. No doubt about it. Do people trust that the Kings are going to be good this year? Do you trust the Kings?
From an outside perspective, like, that's a great point, because I think when we're here in Sacramento and we cover it every day, it's like we see behind the scenes, yes, but from a national perspective, sometimes it feels like they don't get the respect that they deserve, but also maybe even people don't trust them.
Yeah, I'm happy that you said that, because I talk with a lot of people and like we've been, pretty much every day talking about who do we trust in the West? Who's going to make the playoffs? I don't think the Kings are respected. And I say this because I remember the talks I was having in many different spaces. Like, people kept saying, okay, they're winning right now. It's trade deadline. They're going to fall off after the All-Star game. Okay, they haven't fallen off of the All-Star game yet, but there's still a bunch of time left. It's not all the way locked up. They're still going to fall down. X or Y team is going to be better than the Kings. Okay, the Kings make the playoffs. I'm wrong, right? Coming into next season, what the talk is right now, from my perspective, is the Kings are a young team. They did this 1 year. Everyone stayed healthy. You can't bank on that happening again. We have to see it again. Like, for a lot of people, whenever a young team comes out of nowhere and has dominance, they want to see another season to justify them being that team. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are still doubting them to be this good team that they were. And I kind of don't understand it because, again, I always ask people, right? If you feel this way, what about what the Kings did last year is not sustainable? Because if their number one thing that contributed to them being so good was their offense and the style of how it played out, what is going to change about their offense that's going to make it worse next year? I think it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, and I think their depth is even better this year. So I think if there is a stretch, and let's be honest, odds are they're going to have guys who miss a few more games this year. They had a really healthy year. I mean, I always say healthy in quotations because
they were still banged up.
They were banged up. Guys
broken,
played through it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of their mindset with that team. But, odds are they're going to miss some games. I think they've got better depth this year to withstand that too if that happens. And other teams get hurt too. That's just the nature of playing in the NBA. Like, teams are going to get banged up for sure. Yeah, I just really, really like their depth this year. And I think that that's going to carry them a long way.